was just announced there was no collusion with Russia, the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. There was no collusion with Russia. There was no obstruction and none whatsoever. And it was a complete and total exoneration.
That was our president the day the attorney general released that 4-page summary letter. That's what led Mueller to write about the public confusion that was being let loose effective that moment. Of course, as we've been reporting, the report did not declare total exoneration. Our next guest writes in his book On Tyranny, and we quote, "You submit to tyranny when you renounce the difference between what you want to hear and what is actually the case." And so we welcome back to the broadcast Timothy Snyder, Yale University professor. Professor Snyder was actually a Marshall Scholar, educated in the Ivy League and at Oxford, specializing in Europe and the Holocaust. He happens to be the author of 2 books of note in this area. The first we just mentioned, On Tyranny, 20 Lessons from the 20th Century. The second, The Road to Unfreedom, Russia, Europe, America. And Professor, from the distance of Austria, you've been listening to our broadcast tonight. Just the news we're covering tonight, how do you believe it fits into the thesis?
Well, unfortunately, it fits extremely well. The foundation of Russian foreign policy towards us and towards everyone is to try to get rid of factuality as such, to turn everyone into people who have opinions, to turn politics into a matter of spectacle. We are now in the middle of that. We have a president and an attorney general who are lying about an underlying reality. The underlying reality is that Russia in 2016 carried out a comprehensive campaign, as shown in the Mueller report and elsewhere, to get Mr. Trump elected. That is the underlying factual reality. What we are seeing is an attempt to turn underlying facts not just into spin, but into fiction. This isn't just a problem because the facts are so important. It's a problem because facts themselves are the basis for a rule of law state. And so your coverage tonight about a crisis in the Department of Justice is about a crisis in the rule of law. It's about the kind of country that the United States will be.
I first saw you in an interview with Bill Maher that stopped me in my tracks. And that very night you talked about, as one of your points, the importance of listening for dangerous words. With that in mind, listen to this from our president. We'll discuss on the other side.
They tried for a coup. Didn't work out so well. And I didn't need a gun for that one, did I?
It was a coup. That started long before Mueller. This was a coup. This was an attempted overthrow of the United States government. This was a coup. This wasn't stealing information from an office in the Watergate apartments. This was an attempted coup.
Professor, no one needs to remind you that that word, while powerful, is also a term of art in geopolitics. How does that fit in your list of rules?
Well, by using that word coup, by suggesting that the other side has already carried out a coup or tried to carry out a coup, what Mr. Trump is doing is saying that I would be within my rights if I also did something extraordinary. So he's trying to move politics from something normal into a place where states of exception, coup d'etat, and so on would be thinkable. And of course, he's already blamed the other side. Although, in fact, what has happened is that he himself, as the Mueller report says, has been the beneficiary of a very strange intervention in American politics by a foreign power.
Normalization comes through repetition, does it not? And is that what we're seeing with no obstruction, no collusion, total vindication?
Yeah, I mean, that's right out of the middle of the authoritarian playbook. It's everything we know from George Orwell and all these smart commentators of 20th century totalitarianism. You repeat something which you know is simple and which you know is wrong over and over again in the hope that, you know, as if you had a machete, you could clear out all of the underbrush of the facts. The underbrush of the facts indicate that there was a campaign in 2016 to elect Mr. Trump, that it came from Russia, that Mr. Trump and his campaign knew about it, that they supported it, that they expected it to help him. Those are the facts. Repeating these things over and over again is an attempt to make people feel comfortable in a reality which should make us highly uncomfortable.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.